did the Markham Skating Club evolve?
Well, I think the Markham Arena people was asking for, they probably started it, trying to promote ice time using the ice at the Markham Arena. So they, and there was a couple of women whose name I can't remember, who knew something about figure skating clubs. And so between the Markham Arena and those women who were interested in it, they organized, I remember it was something in the paper, obviously something in the paper to have a figure skating club. And so I was giving my marching orders to make sure that it was a family club, affordable for families. In that the Unionville Figure Skating Club was close by, and that was at that time, was certainly an elite club.
So you're saying it was more sort of geared to families?
Well, that was the original purpose, was at least to make it affordable for families, so that particularly our family, so that we had a number of young people to go to it, and we wanted to make it affordable so they could go to it. So certainly,
What were your marching orders, Dad?
well, Loretta sent me off to not to come back home unless this figure skating club was going to be affordable for our family to use it.
So it was kind of a community project, do you think?
Well, certainly, well, there was, as I said, there was, I think the Markham Arena people, plus a few women who knew what they're talking about. I knew nothing about figure skating, how it was organized, how it was run, but there were a few people, few mothers there who knew all about it and knew what kind of costs were involved, cost of the arena, cost of having professionals.
So you had professional coaches there?
Oh yeah.
Or you hired professionals?
Hired professional coaches.
What was your job? Were you like
At the first, I started off as a board member.
board member? So
Well, you go to any of these initial things, if you say more than 2 words, you're on the board.
very nice. That's nice. So they, whatever you want to be part of the Markham Skating Club, they said,
Well,
"Would you
you
like to be?" And you said, "Sure."
No, you showed more than 5 seconds worth of interest.
I asked a couple of questions. I think that there wasn't that many people there. Those people who knew what they were talking about, a few others. That couldn't have been more than 10 or 12 people at the meeting.
Well, let's talk about the ice show. Now, in those days, it was called the Skating Carnival.
Right.
And as we all know, every club has, it's all volunteers and all the parents must volunteer. Did you have a skating carnival right at the very top of the skating year? Well, it's usually at the end of the year, isn't it?
It's always usually at the end of the year. And I can't remember we did not have a carnival. We had and I can't remember what name they used. More demonstration, exhibition, something of that nature, just to give it an opportunity for the parents and grandparents and friends of the parents to come and see what the various children could do. So,
like a spiral or like shoot the duck or skating backwards, that kind of thing?
yeah, some
Is
of it.
it like races or?
No, I don't remember races. It was more of maybe tango lines lined up, going up and down the ice in a line,
Oh,
back and forth. Other than that, I don't remember very much about it. It was for all these things, as a part of a board member who knew nothing about figure skating clubs, everything that they came up with was a surprise. I thought it was, I figured that we were taking the kids over for Saturday and that was it. But no, along came these various exhibition that we had to do rehearsals for, and then the year following do the carnival.
so the skating carnival, the skating carnival.
Yeah.
So what was your part of the skating carnival?
Well, at the time I was working for CFTO, and I was asked if CFTO was interested in, or if I could get any interest from CFTO in helping with the carnival. So I asked one of the lighting directors there.
Remember his name?
For last name was Downing. I forget the first.
Terry.
Terry Downing, right? And so I was asked him if he could tell me what I should do, and he went a lot further than that and said he would help me with the whole thing. So he knew what he was about. Between the two of us, then we ordered the lighting equipment, a lighting dimmer board, and all the cables were necessary. And then there was a lot of men, fathers, and they volunteered. I think at that time volunteers weren't as well organized as they are today. It wasn't sort of the commitment that if you belong to a club, you have to volunteer. Maybe implied, but it wasn't explicit. But we had all sorts of men who were quite interested in helping set up the arena for the carnival. So it took us a good 18-hour day to put all the lights up, put all the cabling in, put all it in, and get it ready for the carnival.
Well, it was professional. I mean, everybody.
Well, we had a
involved
professional. Terry Downing was the professional. He was the one who told us what to do, and we all did it.
Well, who wouldn't want to be a part of
Right,
that?
right.
It wasn't rinky-dink. It was pretty good.
Right. Well, it also allowed us. We also had men who wanted to go on the operate the spotlights, just have the dancers. So we always then the fight was we wanted to have more theater lighting, and the dancers wanted lit all the time. So we tried to compromise between having theater lighting and lighting, which was all just very bland.
How many kids did you have involved in the skating?
I think we had 8 kids eventually. 8. No, well, probably. I think we had 8 kids. I don't remember I don't remember the 9th one. I think there was only 8 got involved in.
You don't think Jerome was involved?
No, I
Do you
don't think
there
so.
were just 8 kids, not 9. And
Not
how many
9.
kids do you have?
I have 10 kids, 10 children, not kids, but 10 children.
Okay, children. You had 10 children involved in the skating club. What do you remember? Let's get back to the. You're being proved wrong.
Jerome, that's James.
That's Jerome.
No,
That's Jerome.
Jerome. Okay, 9 people were in the club.
So how many children did you have involved in the skating club?
9,
And you have how many?
10.
10 children.
Right.
Okay.
The other one's in
Just
Jerome.
making sure.
Right.
Did you have, the club has certainly changed from when you were there. You didn't have fundraisers at the time, did you?
No.
Or Skate Canada or anything like that. But, hey, it certainly evolved from the day, the year that, what year do you think it was that you started? About 1964?
64, yeah, probably.
Because somebody has a record of a skating program. It was 1965.
Wow. So we would have
This was
started in
before.
64.
So this was the year before, I would
Right.
think.
Right.
Correct?
That sounds right.
That sounds right. What's your fondest memory of the whole skating world with you and your family? And you think it would be something like maybe have fun, learn to skate, and learn skills, and give back to the community somehow? What about that? What's your fondest memory?
Fondest memory.
You must work for the CBC.
Fondest memory. Well, certainly the carnivals were intense. Because a lot of time spent before the carnival setting it up. Certainly doing the carnivals occupied a lot of the figure skating time certainly at the end of the season, preparation for the carnival, planning the carnival. The professionals were doing all that, and we just came in I and the other men who were involved came in to put up lights and then found out what was happening when it was happening. When they brought out we had no idea what the program was until we saw the dress rehearsal. And, that was the only time we saw how it was being put together, and so we lit it to that. So what was set up was sort of general lighting that could be adapted to anything, and I remember having 4 spotlights there, so the spotlights would cover a multitude of sins in terms of what it looked like, and each year that we did it, we added more and more touches to it. As I said, Terry Downing was the one who had the ideas, and the rest of us just worked under his general direction and went from there. I remember that. I remember some of the. Remember one of the last times had so many children, there wasn't sufficient places for the children to get dressed. So I remember we rented trailers with those large propane heaters to blast heat into the trailers to keep them warm. I remember the children all being enthused because they all got a piece of lipstick to keep and bring home with them. That all seemed kind. Everybody was keen about what they were doing, and I don't remember anybody being. Everybody was enthused about it. All the children were enthused about it. Remember that part. Remember taking people to the figure skating, drop them off. All sorts of assistance from other parents.
Oh, for lessons, the
regular lessons, the regular season. Made lots of friends at the time. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Young people in our family seemed to enjoy it, and yeah.
And being part of the board.
Well, becoming part of the, as I said, being a member, part of the board was more of you opened your mouth and asked questions. Therefore, you were asked to be a member of the board. And then as the board went on, the various people who were running it either lost, I'm going to say they lost interest, but they didn't want to be chairman of the board anymore. So I eventually became chairman of the figure skating board, of the Markham Figure Skating Board. None didn't involve a whole lot in terms of being there. There was lots of other people who knew what they were doing. They just needed, I think they needed a figurehead of some sort, and so I volunteered to do it. And,
things have changed, though.
well, yeah, well, hopefully it all changes. I mean, as I said, we wanted it to be a club where families could afford to go, and I don't remember what the prices were, but I remember there was a family membership, which our family took a big advantage of.
Good. So that's pretty much, I can't think of anything else. Brian, can you think of anything else?
Was the rink already there?
The rink was there.
Why did they want a skating club? They already had Unionville.
Well, I think
Oh, you were saying it.
I mean, I think the Markham Arena people were looking for, get more ice use, more paid ice for the arena. So but they gave it. I remember we got a good price. We got good times. We were at a time when little people could come to the arena. We weren't doing things at 6 a.m. in the morning or at midnight or anything else. We had great times for great skate times to use it.
Now, who hired the coaches? I mean, wasn't really maybe.
Well, as I said, some of the women there knew coaches or knew of coaches.
Remember Frances Allen?
Frances Allen, yes.
Karen
I remember. Yeah, I remember $25 an hour was what we were paying her at that time.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of money.
That was a lot of money.
$25. No, there was a woman by the name of Karen Lewis.
And Karen Lewis, yes.
There was a man by the name of Hans. Do you remember Hans? Okay. Peggy Woodcock. She was.
Oh, yeah, Peggy Woodcock was a member of the board, and she was the one who knew what it was about, right?
She kind of seemed to be like the ice rink coordinator. She
Wow.
was like kind of, well, besides being on the board, I remember her at the door, opening the door for everybody, and
Right. Well, but she was one of the people who knew when they were organizing this. She was one of the people who knew how figure skating clubs should run, or what once they started talking about carnivals and patches and semi-private lessons and all the rest of it, I had no idea what any of this was or how it was run or anything else. So I was led by the hand by people like Peggy.
good for Peggy.
Right.
And good for you, Dad. You just
Well.
let her boss you
Well,
around.
well, let people who knew what they were doing boss me around. They just needed a figurehead. So
And there was a snack bar at the arena as well, right?
we didn't benefit from it. I mean, I think the arena people did. So, I mean, whatever was there was the arena made it or whatever.
So it's not called the Skating Carnival anymore. It's called the Ice Show.
I show.
The Ice Show.
Wow.
Which is fine, but that's how it used to be called.
Right.
So that's what we refer to it now as the Ice Show. So in case
Too,
anybody's...
not too
Do they
original.
still get lipstick?
I don't know.
What was the name of the company? It was
Avon.
Ponds.
Well,
Ponds, yeah.
Ponds.
Cheeseboro Ponds.
Cheeseboro Ponds, where
They're up
they
the bowl.
provided all the
Donated.
makeup. Provided all the makeup for the.
And that ruby red dull lipstick that we loved in a little white container. And then we had photographers come as well. Took
Right.
photos.
Somebody organized that.
Do you know how the shows got created?
Oh, that was
ice
that
shows
was
got created.
how the shows got created.
The theme
Ah.
and so forth.
Pardon?
The theme.
That was all up to the professionals. They did it. They talked to some of the women. I had little or no say in what the show was being done. As I said, when we were lighting the show, we saw it at the same time. We saw it the day before everybody else saw it.
Would you, looking back, would you say that it accomplished this family-oriented thing? Thinking of those carnivals.
Certainly, while we
all
were,
those- all those kids that were on the ice, thousands of them, or what seemed like 20 in each group going up and down, kind of doing the same dance, really, think
Right.
about it. Do you think it accomplished the
well, I think it introduced a lot of young people to figure skating who might not have had the opportunity otherwise. It was cheap enough so that they could do it, see whether they liked it or not.
And were you around when it went from the Markham Figure Skating Club to, I assume, an association with the Canadian Figure Skating Association?
No, I
And
was.
when we started getting those badges.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Badges were like years.
Badges were there for the very beginning.
Yeah.
So there was some type of association, because you can't give out badges if you're not connected.
I had no idea. I can't. Well, maybe I have an idea, but I can't remember. It just doesn't have a big memory in my mind.
Figure skating, the Markham Figure Skating Club, yeah, would have been associated with
Can't
something that is
Right.
different now.
Oh,
Canada.
probably it was left to. I don't remember. I can guess, but I can't.
It's evolved certainly from
Right. Right.
what it was to what it is now. For sure.
Right.
So it really kind of gave back to the community. In what way? Do you think?
Well,
I think you said it, like the.
I mean, maybe. Well, it gave back. It allowed these little people to go on the ice and see whether or not they liked it or not. Had some touch with professionals. It would certainly be a way of identifying, for children to identify whether or not, and parents to identify if they wanted to do more with their children. I don't know how many of them did that or not, we didn't track them or anything of that nature. Whether any went on to invest more and more money in private lessons or patch time or ice time and what have you. I mean, there were people who did it, but there seemed to be children at the time who belonged to more than one club, so that they could get more and more ice time. So, but they seemed to be a separate, they had a separate world of their own. They joined our club, they joined Unionville Club, they joined another club in Scarborough, Tamashatter Club, right? All looking for additional ice time. So, but we were just additional ice time for them.
What was Terry Downing's daughter's name, Dad?
I don't remember.
Daleen.
Daleen, right?
And Terry's wife, Maureen, I believe, was the voice for some of the ice shows. The narrator for the ice shows. She had an awesome, deep, very good voice.
I don't remember. I remember Terry's daughter, Darlene, and them became quite friendly with them for Daleen. Became quite friendly with them for quite a while. So until I went on to started working on the school boards, and I think somewhere along the line we lost our interest in the figure skating club because people grew up and wanted to do different things.
Anything else you can think of asking Alex MacGregor here?
No. Was it already sort of formulated before you got sort of into it?
No.
What was the first?
We had I went to the inaugural meeting, the meeting to form the club.
So somebody had proposed that?
Somebody had proposed. I think it was, as I said, it was the Markham Arena people who were looking for other users of ice time. So, and also they I think had a sense of, as a community, should not just only be for hockey, but for something that would attract particularly girls.
Right.
I don't remember girls hockey being.
For a long time.
Girls hockey wasn't in the works at that time, so this was a young woman's thing to do.